just plain threatening. And we all feel that. Now here comes then the actor. Gets up in front of everybody and goes, not only am I the focus here, but there are lights on me. Yeah? You all are over there together. I am up here alone. You are all looking at me. And I'm about to be asked to sing or to tell a joke or to do something that has an essential risk involved just in the activity, never mind that you're doing that animal scrutinizing. I am about to sing notes that I hope are on key, or tell a joke that I hope gets a laugh, or act out a scene that I hope is taken as true and human, in which I could fail. So the judgment level that enhances the basic animal scrutiny is heightened. And people do the thing that animals do. They will dodge it. It's one of the... I don't believe that until you conquer that, I don't believe an actor can give an unfalsified performance. There is always something, as long as the actor has not turned that over for another value, there is always that sense I'm being looked at. And it is especially true in auditions, because they haven't paid for admission. They are using the audition to judge your skills and your rightness for a role. So there is no other explanation in the audition setting than I am being scrutinized. I am being evaluated, I am being judged, and the assumption is they intend to kill me. Not literally, but not choose me. Right? Because what are the odds? They don't choose many more people than they do choose. So it's in your psychological, logical favor that there is a rejection there, a death there. Right? So the scrutiny, the moment that everybody in the room is looking at you, that stuff starts. Now for most of us, it starts because we have that imagination. It starts in advance. One of the things that starts the nervousness is we start imagining that we're going to be looked at 2 o'clock on Tuesday. And we're going to be looked at doing something that they already have the necessity to evaluate. And so all of a sudden, the animal response starts rolling. I want to dodge this thing. How many of you have had that, I'm going to cancel this audition? If you had that one, I'm just going to, I'm just going to call, and then you go, this is ridiculous. I fight for these auditions. I want these auditions. I bug my agent to get me auditions, and yet why is it? I want to postpone it. I want to cancel it. I want to not have it. Some of you have that kind of, just because that stuff starts rolling. Tuesday at 2, they're all going to be looking at me. Tuesday at 2, I could fail right in front of everybody. Tuesday at 2, and if I fail, that just makes me that much more the object of the symbolic death. So that particular issue we have to work on. We have to replace that. You're not going to become not animals. You're always going to have your animal nature. That's what we are. That little build-in of scrutiny is not going to go away. It is part of how we're constructed, nor should it go away. If somebody's looking at you weird on the bus, you want that little thing that goes, that person is looking at me weird. I want to move. I want to do something. I don't want you to be without that. And yet, when you get up in front of people to perform, to audition, we want to be able to moderate it, manage it, set it aside, or redirect it. So we're going to talk about how we do that. The next S I want to talk about is stamina. Just imagine this. This is why, some of you, if you go to the zoo, you know how the animals are behaving weirdly? They get that zooitis. They start doing repeated movements, or they're weird, especially the ones that are trapped in a place where they can only be looked at, like when they shut the doors to the caves and the chimpanzees are all just sitting there and everybody's lining up and the kids are tossing peanuts and everybody's staring at them, and these chimpanzees start to do these weird non-chimp things. They have neurotic movements and all of that. That is their reaction to ongoing scrutiny. Their stamina runs out for it. If it was just somebody scrutinizing them twice a day, they would just react to it, build it into their day, and move on. But when their day is spent like that, then they start having all kinds of reactive stuff. They lose the stamina that would keep them going. Now, there's plenty of other things that affect our stamina as well in this business. You know, this is a self-generated business. Earlier at the preview, we were talking about this issue. This is one of the reasons I do what I do in class, because I figure if I can help people with the image and marketing portion of this a little bit, I give them back a little bit of the stamina, answer some questions. I give them back a little bit of the stamina that it takes to stay with this long enough to potentially produce results, because it takes some time. You all have had that feeling in yourself of getting up one morning and going, you know, if I didn't want this to happen, if I didn't go after this today, nobody would even notice that I stopped. It is my deal each day to keep this going. Well, most of us desire it enough, we have enough strength that most days we get up and we do whatever it takes to get going. But you've all had that day where you go, I don't have it today. I just don't have it. You know, I just can't bring myself to face the symbolic disappointment of sending out another picture. No, I can't make a call. I can't ask my agent one more time the same question. Or hear that weird sound on the voice of, oh, hi. Nice to hear from you. You know, those things that you have to deal with. Now, most of the time, we do it. We just do it. We maintain what it takes to do it, or we get our mother to do it for us. We just do the thing that we have to do, right? But there are the days that it runs thin. One of the primary pulls on that energy is this constant dealing with the issue of too much observation, the scrutiny issue. That pulls on it more than anything else. And there's enough drain on your stamina as it is. That pulls on it and pulls on it. And one of the ways that we try to get our stamina charged up again is by that amount of nervousness we want to keep. Well, I'll get myself hysterical. You know, that way I'll be alive. Because if it weren't for that, you know, I'd fucking give up. So I'll get hysterical because that, you know, at least reminds me I'm a living, breathing person. You know, so sometimes we're in this participatory game with our own nervousness. You know, it at least reminds me that I'm still in the game because I'm scared to death. I'm hysterical, so I must be still acting. That is part of this thing that starts as well. The next S that I want to talk about is success. This used to baffle me when people would say that someone was afraid of success. You know? You know how many times you've heard, well, they're just afraid of success. And I would go, who could possibly be afraid of success? That makes no sense to me. It is completely ridiculous. Why would you possibly, it's like being afraid of sex, you know? Although, that could happen too, I guess. You know, it just seems like a stupid thing. Afraid of food. That's one I can't imagine. But afraid of success. And yet, when I started, because I would hear this so much, you know, I think what's wrong, what stood in my way is I'm afraid of success. I said, well, get over that. Stop being afraid of it, because I think it's probably pretty good. You know, it's better than what you're currently experiencing. You know, it never made sense to me. But then I began thinking, why would people be afraid of that? Why would so many people say that? And I began to understand it. Because the moment you step past where you are to something that is somewhat more successful, then not only do you carry with you whatever you had before, but you've now got a new fear.
More scrutiny.
More scrutiny, and you could lose it. When you didn't have it, you know, you couldn't lose the success, you didn't have any. But when you have some, when you've made a little inroad, when you've gotten a little further, well, what happens if that, it's like what the beavers don't worry about. The beavers don't worry about no logs next year, but we do. Well, gee, I got a series. What happens if I don't have one now? You know? Gee, I've been getting so many auditions. What happens if I don't have some? I'm now used to this. I now expect it. What happens if I have to explain to people?